Alright, folks, how you doing? I'm Brent, and welcome to another edition of the Marcus Smart. We are talking about, I think, episode 16 here we're running on, and I actually did it. I actually got my weekend, or the end of week report in on Friday, which means my wife won't be able to distract me, and I'm actually going to get this to you before the weekend. Amazing. Amazing. No more rushing this on Mondays. All right, so what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover NXT from this week. We're going to cover the CWC from this week. And we're going to cover the first episode of Impact that moved to Thursday night. And as well, I believe we have, yes, we got a little bit of a big ups and a big downs. And we got a little bit of a Mauro Say what? So we're going to have a couple of good things here for you today. Following recording this, I'll also be recording my Battleground preview. That'll get out later today as well. This one will come out first, though. Maybe Battleground, by the time it's all uploaded, will be tomorrow morning. Because honestly, uploading these things is such a pain. Who knew this is going to be the big problem in trying to record a show, is just trying to get it onto YouTube. For gosh sakes, some days it feels like that's all I'm doing is just trying to get the upload to work and transfer it. And anyways, enough complaining. Enough complaining. I love doing the show, so I shouldn't complain. All right, you ready? Here we go. We're going to start off with things that were walking the line. So I've always done bad, walking the line, good. Not always, but like for 4 episodes. So that's my always. That's as far as it goes. But no, today, and we'll see why, I'm gonna add a fourth in here, which is my I'm bringing back one. When I used to review a whole show, and I'm bringing back the, oh my god, you gotta see this! But I'm going to take it match by match, because sometimes it's hard to say, like, a whole show was, oh my god, you gotta see this, but sometimes a match is definitely in that category. So we'll see where is it going to fall in, because it's obvious it's going to be on the show somewhere. So, Samoa Joe versus Rhino, starting off NXT. We're going to start with NXT and run through in order. NXT, CWC, Impact. Samoa Joe versus Rhino. We saw them in a standoff last week on NXT, and I didn't love this. The match was good. No problem with the match. The reason why this is walking the line for me is I think we got this great build-up for Rhino. He came back to NXT. He destroyed 2 tag teams, just like killed people in the ring. He wandered off like this raging beast, and then we see him again face to face with Samoa Joe, and that like build up for that Samoa Joe Rhino was about 1 week, and then Samoa Joe beat him. So the reason I don't like this is because we really built up Rhino and then we just tore him down. I would have rather seen Rhino not even face Samoa Joe and keep crushing people and keep building. You know, who's Rhino? Like, Rhino's a guy, see, like Baron Corbin. Why is Rhino losing? The magic of Rhino is that he wins. He's a beast. It's like Brock Lesnar, the Conqueror. You know, Rhino, the Man Beast. Baron Corbin, the Lone Wolf. If these guys lose matches, there's no point to their character. Brock Lesnar's the Conqueror because he conquers, right? Like, Rhino is the Man Beast because he is a beast and crushes people, so I loved everything up until this match. And the worst is he lost by Coquina Clutch, so he actually tapped out. So again, having a big, powerful, strong guy tap out. Also not sure who's face and heel in this, because Samoa Joe's currently heel in NXT. And is Rhino face? Like, for me, he's face after crushing all those tag teams. But is he really face? He doesn't necessarily act like a face. So, I don't know. This whole thing is kind of meh for me. I'm glad Rhino's back, and I hope he moves on from this loss to Samoa Joe and does something. Because he had a really good reintroduction, and then this loss to Samoa Joe, I don't think it does anything for him. I don't think it helps Samoa Joe. We know Samoa Joe is amazing. We don't need him to beat Rhino to know that. And the two of them, I'm pretty sure, already squared off in Rhino's first run in NXT about a year ago, which I believe Samoa Joe walked away winning that. So it really didn't add anything to Samoa Joe, if I'm correct, and he's already beat Rhino like less than a year ago. And all it did was was to pull Rhino's character down for me. So that's walking the line for me. Next one, Patrick Clark versus Austin Aries. There's nothing wrong with this match. Patrick Clark we saw on Tough Enough. So he was one of the Tough Enough competitors from last season. He came out like a bedazzled friggin' American flag. I don't know what his gimmick is, and that's the only reason this is walking the line for me. Obviously, Austin Aries is great. We get No Way Jose come out and beat down Aries. We're obviously leading to something with Aries and No Way Jose, probably at TakeOver Brooklyn Redux or whatever they're calling it, Brooklyn 2 or what, TakeOver 2 or I don't know. But yeah, it's just walking the line for me because it just wasn't much of anything, you know what I mean? So after that, we move on to things I really liked about NXT. So Authors of Pain versus American, I have written here, Authors of Pain versus American Authors. That's not correct. That's not correct at all. Authors of Pain versus American Alphas. This was an amazing match. This was a really, really good match. Jordan is such a beast. Gable is such a beast. I have written here, Jordan is a beast. Then I wrote, so is Gable, because honestly, like the suplexes and things they were giving the Authors of Pain, these are two big boys, and Jordan and Gable don't look anywhere near them in terms of physique and size, and they were like manhandling them. And Jordan, when he takes his straps down and just goes into like his beast mode, he just looks so good. He looks so in the zone. You just are like, dude, this guy's gonna kill somebody. Just a good match, great match. The only thing I would say on that match is not a lot from Paul Ellering. That's the only thing I would say. He's on the outside, but you know what? He has talked on backstage segments, and maybe that's what they have him for. Maybe neither of the guys in Authors of Pain are really great on the mic yet, and they're using Ellering that way. He definitely didn't interfere or really like play into the match at all. He just kind of stood there. But if all he's doing is being a mouthpiece for them, and that's what they need, then that's fine. I love managers. Love managers. I'd love to see managers with stables of wrestlers. Like, I love managers. It really helps when you have guys that are having a tough time on the mic. You know what I mean? So, all right. From there, we get a Revival promo, which I love because we got... I should have done this on Big Ups, Big Downs. This shouldn't even be in here. Bah. All right. And it's done now. But anyways, Gargano and Ciampa interrupt. And that's a big up for me. We'll just have to pretend this was on Big Ups, Big Downs. Because Gargano and Ciampa getting into the title scene is amazing. Hopefully Revival's ready to leave. Like, honestly, the tag team divisions up on Raw and SmackDown definitely need the help. Having Revival move up to one of those divisions would certainly help. And having Gargano and Ciampa as the NXT champions, one can only hope. That would be amazing. After that, we get Nia Jax versus Bayley. Good match. Nia Jax uses the jackhammer, Goldberg's old move. I don't know if she hit it quite well, but it looked destructive. But Bayley actually kicked out of that, and she ends up hitting a Bayley to belly from the middle rope to win, which I think I've seen her hit the Bayley to belly off the middle on Sasha and stuff before. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody quite the size of Nia Jax take a Bayley to belly off the middle turnbuckle. That was something. So Bayley gets the win there, and that's NXT. So it was a decent NXT. Again, nothing wrong with the Patrick Clark, Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, Rhino match. It just wasn't great for me for the reasons I talked about. But definitely Authors of Pain, American Alphas, amazing. And Nia Jax and Bayley are a decent match too. So there we go, NXT. Moving on to CWC. So last week, CWC, it didn't hit the right note for me, which is shocking. Like, Kota Ibushi was on that episode, but it just didn't hit the level of intensity. You know, like when I watch Lucha Underground, and this is what I'm trying to, it's hard to compare anything to Lucha Underground right now. There's just too many guys like Matt Cross and Ricochet who are just freaking King Cuerno, Ricky Banderas. There's just too many guys. I can't remember Ricky Banderas' name. Mil Muertes. There's just too many guys that are just so good and bring the intensity, And like, look at Mil. Mil's not like a high flyer at all, but I just feel like he brings the intensity. Phoenix, oh my gosh. Zero Mierda. I can't even... know how come I can remember his catchphrase, but not his name. Pentagon Jr. Like, these guys bring the intensity. That's what I'm looking for from CWC. And I just didn't get it in that first episode. But you know what? Spoiler alert, they're going to bring it this episode. So, things that I loved. Because there's no things walking the line for me at all. At all. On CWC. To start off with Tajiri versus Damien Slater. The Japanese buzzsaw returning to action. Excellent. We saw tons of kicks out of Tajiri. He wins the match with the buzzsaw kick. Slater hung in there with him. But it was great seeing Tajiri back. Great seeing a lot of Tajiri action. Tajiri did like he got out of, he was doing a collar and elbow tie-up, and he was doing some chain wrestling, and he used the rope to step out of a move and put the guy into another move. Just, I love the way Tajiri uses his environment. I've always loved the way he uses ropes, the tarantula, all that stuff. I know it doesn't come off in WWE world as much as it did in ECW, but I love Tajiri. These are some of the matches, man, when I think back to the great days, like him and Super Crazy and FBI, they called him Nunzio or whatever I don't know why I can remember his WWE name. Oh my God. Anyways, this guy, Tajiri was great. I know he's like definitely the older guy in the tournament, but I love seeing him. He still can definitely go. He said he's got a couple more years left in him, and thankfully that's true. And I love him. And oh my gosh, I loved William Regal with Tajiri when they were both on TV. Tajiri can be really funny. Who knows how they're going to use his character, but I've heard he's already signed his deal with WWE. I'm so glad he's coming back. After that, we get TJ Perkins versus Damac. TJ Perkins is supposed to be the highlight of this match, and he definitely was. He was great, but man, Damac showed and proved as well, man. That guy showed up. Unfortunately, I think it was it was fated that TJ Perkins was going to win, just the way they were pushing him and hyping him. And he did win with a knee bar, which is definitely an odd win for a wrestling match. You don't see a lot of knee bar wins. But, and I think the knee bar is not indicative of how exciting this match was. Because when you hear a match ends with a knee bar, you think, how exciting could this match have been? But these guys put on a show. Definitely worth watching. The main event on this one was Kenneth Johnson versus Akira Tozawa. And, you know, this was a good match. Brought the intensity for sure. I think it got upstaged by a match that aired before it, which we're going to get to after this. But this is definitely a good match. The only thing I thought was interesting is Tozawa wins a match with a bridging suplex, which is the second win, because Ho Ho Lun, if you remember from last week, and now I'm not watching them side by side to see exactly if they're the same move. I just remember Ho Ho Lun won with a bridging suplex, and now Tozawa wins with a bridging suplex. It's not exactly the most exciting finishing move, and to have two of them within a 10-match period, you know, or 4 matches and 4 matches, yeah. Within 8 matches to have 2 winning with a bridging suplex, you know. Anyways, moving on, we got, so we're moving on from things I loved about the CWC, and we're moving to, oh my God, you've got to see this! This match, Lince Dorado versus Mustafa Ali, was a showstopper. This is the matches that I'm looking for from the CWC. Oh my God, this match was crazy. Springboard reverse Rana from the middle rope from Dorado onto Mustafa Ali. Looked like he freaking murdered him. Mustafa Ali hitting a springboard Spanish fly off the top freaking rope. Looked so disgustingly amazing. Just amazing. Dorado hits a shooting star press for the win. But I'm telling you, this match brought the action. I'm so glad Dorado has moved on. I'm pretty sure I heard Lince Dorado already signed a WWE contract, which I'm he was just amazing. I don't know if it was just him making Mustafa Ali look good, but for me, if a match is good, that's on 2 guys. You can't, for me, I don't believe you can have a great match with just one guy. It's got to be both guys. So Mustafa Ali really showed improved in that match too, man. Well, that springboard Spanish fly off the top was just took my breath away. It was heart-stopping. So this, damn it, I keep itching my nose. And my wife says I need to stop that. And I think I need to stop that because I keep doing it on camera. It's terrible. Just one of these things I got to work on. I don't know why I'm telling any of you. This is I would say, again, cut it in post, but we all know that doesn't happen. That's not a real thing. So, yeah, that's it. So that's the end of the CWC. Holy goodness. Holy goodness. We got a taste of CWC last week, but now we're getting into the meat of it. There's still so many matches to come. Just stick with the CWC and sit back and enjoy. What a ride. What a ride. Impact. Okay, yeah, so that's it. I'm moving on to Impact. And we're gonna start with things that were, oh man, how are we gonna address Impact today? Walking the line. We'll say it's walking the line. None of this stuff I'm gonna say I totally hated. We're gonna start just walking the line. So we open up with Jeff on the ramp where he broke his leg. Matt joins him there. And if you don't know, sorry, maybe some of you don't know, Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, I believe, were tag team champions. And Jeff Hardy was out screwing around on his motorbike, broke his leg, and then they had to give up the titles. And this is factored into some part of why Matt is mad at Jeff. It definitely wasn't the catalyst for broken Matt Hardy, but it definitely factored into this. So, or Matt's now using it as part of this. Anyways, Matt joins him there and tries to convince him to try to do it again, and then we cut away. Later in the program, we go back to it and we watch the whole damn thing again, except this time we see the ending, and Jeff does attempt it, and he fails. And then we get, now, here, can I just rant for a bit? I think. I'm just going to rant a little bit here before I even go over the matches. So what we have, I'm doing it again. I'm going to go off camera. I'm itching my nose down here, but you can't see it. There you go. Oh, I still touched it anyways. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I got an itchy friggin' nose. Damn it. Damn it. All right. Okay. Anyways, so let me just rant, like just freestyle, no notes, no matches. Here's my problem. Bound for Glory. This is, and they keep telling me, this is the biggest event of the year, the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. And every year we have the Bound for Glory series of matches to see who's going to face for the title at Bound for Glory, right? But it doesn't... So we get the... So this week we're seeing the opening round matches, but here's the thing. If this is the biggest tournament for the biggest match of the biggest night, it should be at least interesting. Some things in wrestling are always going to be predictable. But when you're going into WrestleMania or Bound for Glory, I think you should at least try to be like not predictable. Try to make it at least interesting. Zack Ryder winning the ladder match for the IC title at WrestleMania was not predictable. And it ended up being one of the highlights of that WrestleMania. People were like just in shock and were like, whoa, Zack Ryder wins. Why? Because we all didn't already think that was going to happen. When the person we think is going to win just wins, and that's it, and we go through a whole show like that, you lose me. You lose me. You gotta spice it up a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's my rant. For goodness sakes, be interesting. Be interesting. Stop being predictable. My God, my shoulder hurts so much from training at Crossbody Wrestling Academy that when I do this arm is actually, I can't get this arm as high as this other arm because it hurts too bad. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm dying here. I can barely walk upstairs anymore. Ugh. This is what happens when you're an old ass man that has no business being inside of a wrestling ring, but somehow you get it in your head that this is what you're going to do. Talk about midlife crisis. All right. So anyways, where the heck was I? Here we go. Bound for Glory. This is where I'm getting to. We got Matt hurting himself on the ramp. We're continuing with the Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy storyline. we get Jeff Hardy facing Michael Bennett in the first round of the Bound for Glory series, which already, like, this whole deletion of Jeff Hardy doesn't make any sense. I get, like, now he's just with Matt Hardy. I talked about it right after Destination X, and that they even announced him in this match, and how none of this made any sense. But I guess Matt Hardy, Jeff is still going to wrestle, and he's going to be there. He's just, I don't think Jeff Hardy exists anymore. He's going to be called Brother Nero now, and Matt's replaced his music with somebody just chanting, like, obsolete or something. I don't know. Anyways, Jeff comes out completely injured from the motorcycle accident, can barely get down to ring. Matt Hardy even, like, I think announces this. Michael Bennett comes out to take on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy cannot even fight back. Jeff Hardy loses because he, like, literally, like, Miracle touches him and he screams and falls to the ground. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, this is the Bound for Glory series, right? And who cares? We knew, as soon as that match started, I was like, well, Bennett's going to win this. So who cares? Matt Hardy versus James Storm. This could have gone either way, except they've done all this build-up for Matt Hardy, no build-up for James Storm. James Storm is coming off his Eli Drake feud, which didn't really go anywhere. And now he's coming into this, so there's no reason to even think James Storm is going to win this match, and he doesn't. Twist of Fate for the win for Matt. And they're one right after another from Jeff's match. And after Matt berates Jeff and tells him he's going to show him what to do, at no point did I think James Storm had any chance in this match at all. So the whole thing was just these two matches. Here's 2 of the 4 matches in the Bound for Glory series, and just boring. Boring, because you knew exactly what was going to happen. I don't even know if this is on the edge for me. Whatever. I don't even know if it's walking the plank. This could just be bad. Jeff and Matt backstage with Vanguard 1 after, and Vanguard 1 shows him who his next opponent is going to be. Okay, cool. I will say, honestly, I think I might be getting a soft spot for Vanguard 1. If he would actually, if Vanguard 1 would follow Matt Hardy to the ring, like if he'd come out with his little drone, like Coco Beware came out with his little bird, and he would sit at sit at ringside with him. Vanguard 1 doesn't even have to get in matches. He could just come park somewhere, like on a little table they can have for Vanguard 1. But I think I think I would like that better. Now we're switching storyline. So that's the Matt and Jeff storyline from Impact. We're switching to EC3. Damn, I'm itching my nose. I'm trying to break the habit during this show, but it's not working at all. EC3 video package. I don't even know. Some video package of EC3. Then EC3's in the ring cutting a promo. Then Galloway comes out to do his thing. And then Eli Drake comes out, thankfully, and interrupts both of them and calls them all dummies. Because I actually at least like Eli Drake on the mic. I don't know why. But for some reason when he calls people dummies, yeah. Dummies, yeah. I don't know. I just like it. I feel like it's not good, but he keeps doing it, and then that makes it good. Because he seems like a guy who would think that he's funny, even when he's not funny. And I find the humor in that. So, Eli Drake comes out. Now, here's the problem. EC3 and Galloway have been pushing this whole, like, hey, we're on either sides of the bracket. The only way we'll face each other if we both make it to Bound for Glory. So when Eli Drake comes out to face EC3 after him and Galloway are in the ring cutting promos against each other, at no point do I think Eli Drake is going to win this match. At all. Not even a slight ounce of thinking that Eli Drake is going to win this match. And Eli Drake does not win this match. Drew Galloway wins it. Who the hell is this? I have EC3 versus Eli Drake as the start of this match, and then in my notes I have Drew by Sunset Flip. Oh, and I got it mixed up. It was Drew backstage. So EC3 wins the match by Sunset Flip. Then we go to a Drew promo backstage. He's saying something about EC3, and Miracle interrupts, probably saying, like, don't overlook me or whatever. Then we get Bram Rosemary backstage promo. Rosemary wants to help Bram win. Honestly, I don't even know how this ends. She asks for permission, and I assume Bram says no because she never comes out. we never really quite, I didn't really understand what happened. I like Decay, but some of the storylines, I don't know, maybe I just like closed my eyes for a second. I was watching it late at night, but I don't really understand how this ended. Anyways, Rosemary did not come out to help Bram. It was Bram versus Drew Galloway. And at no point during this match did I think that Bram was going to beat Drew Galloway. At no point, because clearly the storyline's not going that way. Galloway wins by Future Shock DDT, and we have like 4 opening round matches for the Bound for Glory series that absolutely were meaningless. Not one really good match. Not one match that I actually cared about at all. Not one match that surprised me. Like, it just was blah. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I see they're pushing their storylines and they have this idea in their head and they're like pushing their storylines, but you can't like hit the nail on the head so much, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's got to be a little more roundabout. This was all just straightforward. And for the biggest tournament, for the biggest match of the biggest event of the year, it's not good enough. I don't think so. I was just like, bah, 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 bah. Anyways, moving on to things that were good about Impact. Because there were good things about Impact. Well, no, there was only one good thing. So, actually, Michael Bennett. So Michael Bennett was involved in the Jeff Hardy match, but I incorporated that whole match as part of the Jeff and Matt storyline, not really the Michael Bennett storyline. The Michael Bennett storyline I see more with Lashley, Moose, Eddie Edwards, this kind of storyline. So Lashley is in the ring, and he calls out Moose. Michael Bennett comes out and interrupts. Then Moose comes out. Then Edward comes out. We get brawls ensuing. We find out that if either Moose or Miracle interfere in the main event, that Miracle will be fired on the spot. And we get a little bit of... there's some play around, like, Miracle's worried because Moose is like, I'm going to kill people anyways. Because we get promos all the way through. We got an Eddie promo, a Miracle and Moose promo, a Lashley promo. The Eddie and Lashley promos are just building. The Miracle and Moose promo is, again, that, like, Miracle's like, no, don't you understand? I'm going to get fired. Like, please don't go do this. But, you know, I wasn't, like, super big on Moose being the guy coming out at Destination X. It wasn't the, like, big whoa I was expecting, probably because I was expecting Moose to be debuting shortly on Impact. And it just didn't feel like the right guy to connect with Miracle. But you know what? This worked it out. I didn't mind Miracle and Moose working together. I like the way the storyline ran through the show. And then we get the 6 sides of steel at the end of it. No interference. Lashley ends up winning. And it was title for title. So Lashley now has the X Division title and the world title. A really good match too. Started like right from the get-go. Eddie flying out of the 6 sides of steel. Them taking the match around ringside before they even got inside. I thought it was a really good match. Eddie Edwards is going to work a good match. Bobby Lashley's been having pretty decent matches. So we got a good match there. And I love Lashley now having both titles. This is interesting. I want to watch Impact next week. Like, I really do. Like, not just because I do this show. Because mostly I watch Impact so that I can do this show. But I mean, I really want to watch Impact. I really want to see what's going to happen. Definitely not for this Bound for Glory series. Gosh. But this storyline right here, this is interesting to me. This is interesting. Thank you, Impact, for not screwing it up. And that's it. That's Impact. Time for another edition of Morrow Say What? So this edition of Mauro Say What is brought to you by the CWC, where he's commentating with Daniel Bryan. And we're going to continue on with something that we've been doing a lot of lately, which is our lucha terms, because Morrow uses a lot of the proper lucha terms as the moves were originated in lucha and then came over here and got more American names. Like the Frankensteiner, for example. I called it a Frankensteiner for years until somebody finally called it a Hurricane Rana, right? So there's different names for every move, and he uses when he can, he goes back to the lucha definitions. So here's one from the CWC. This is all we have is just a few of the just one, but then I'm gonna expand on it. So we got a Corkscrew Pescado, right? Which to me sounds like something to do with fish. And it does, but that's not really what it means. I wonder if it's just like a pescado is like a dead fish. You just throw yourself over the ring. But what a pescado is is a flying body press. So that, I think I said in an earlier episode that I thought this was a plancha. This is not a plancha. When you pull yourself over to the side, that's a pescado. That's a flying body press. So you pull yourself over the top rope and you go to your side. If you go head first, that's a tope. But if you go to the side, that's a pescado. A corkscrew pescado is just a spin when you're spinning this way. Not a flip. You're not going head over head. You're spinning on this axis this way. So you're going over the top and spinning on your side and hitting. Corkscrew pescado. Now, the one that I screwed up on and said that I thought was this was the plancha. So because I had screwed up on this on a past video, because I just took a wild guess at it, I didn't actually look it up. It just sounded like, yeah, maybe that's a plancha. A plancha is actually a splash. So any move where you actually splash, I couldn't even do the splash movement because I almost blew out my elbow just holding my arms in the air. Let me get my arm up. Oh, there you go. A splash. So any splash move is a plancha. So if you see guys going off the turnbuckle to the outside like this and landing on a whole bunch of guys, that's a plancha. They're going into that splash move. But when you're whipping yourself to the side like that, that's a pescado. And interesting, I was just watching an episode of Lucha Underground, and Matt Stryker, you got it wrong. You called a corkscrew pescado a tope con hilo, but it absolutely was not a tope. He was not leading with his head at all. It was completely to the side, and he flipped his body this way. It was a corkscrew pescado, not a tope con hilo. Look at this. We now know so much about lucha, we can start correcting the commentators. I feel very informed now between pescado, plancha, and tope. Hopefully you all feel more informed now. Tope, head first, con hilo with a flip. Pescado, side body splash, corkscrew, roll it, and a plancha, any splash. So you can do like a 450 plancha. There you go. Boom. And that was a very informative episode of Morrow Say What? Last but not least, big ups, big downs. I'll go through this one more time, but absolutely big ups to Gargano and Ciampa getting into the title scene in NXT. We talked about it earlier. I just forgot to remove it from my notes in that section and move it to big ups, big downs. But hey, big ups to Gargano and Ciampa. I don't mind saying it twice. Oh my gosh. What? I was watching something and they just kept saying, so good, he had to do it, so nice, he had to do it twice or something. And the guy said it like twice or three times in a match, and I was like one of the commentators, and I was like, stop saying that. Stop, like once is enough. You can't, that saying is not so nice that you should say it twice. Maybe the move was, but not the saying. So don't say it twice in one match. All right. Big ups, Ciampa, Gargano. Ali, Maria, and their State of the Union or State of the Women's Division on TNA. Big downs! This was just a mess. I don't even know what does it even mean, a State of the Women's Division? They didn't talk about anything. I don't know why Maria is in charge of the Women's Division or what she actually impacts within the Women's Division. I don't like it. I like Ali, so as long as Ali's there, I'm happy. She's funny. She's like comic relief for this whole situation and defusing my frustrations with this, because I don't understand why it's even a thing. In this segment, Gail Kim ends up she's going to have to fight all the knockouts and beat everyone, and if she loses, she can never have a chance at the title again. I don't know. Back to this whole thing. Big downs! But big ups to Ali for making this segment like watchable. So big ups to Ali, big downs to the rest of it. We got a video package for. Oh, well, should I do one of these? No, I say it first. Do I? We get a video package for Tyrus. Big ups. Tyrus is now the Fixer Tyrus, and we get like a 1-800 commercial, kind of like we've seen Jazzy B in Lucha Underground, except for like basically Heroes for Hire from the Marvel Universe. If you know Heroes from Hire, that's basically what I see like Tyrus moving into. Like, he's got a phone number and call if you need help with homework or bullies or this or that. You got a problem, Tyrus is going to fix it for you. I like this. Tyrus needs something. I don't feel like he ever got going on WWE TV. I never liked him on WWE TV. I haven't really liked his role. Actually, as like the silent babysitter when he was carrying, or when he would carry the baby and stuff around, I actually did enjoy that. That side of Tyrus. Like, I just think he looked really funny with the baby and everything and being the big bodyguard. But honestly, how much could Tyrus do for himself in that role, right? Tyrus can only advance his character so much being the silent bodyguard holding a baby, right? If he wants to actually do something himself, he's got to get a different role. And this is the best I've seen as a role for him so far. It's only one video package, and I'm sure there's plenty of ways to screw it up in the future, but hopefully they don't, and it looks pretty good right now. Shera backstage, jumped by the tribunal. Thumbs down. This was like a mild thumbs down. It was on the show, so I had to fit it in somewhere. It just, it just didn't really, it wasn't set up well. It didn't end well. There was no consequence to it. It was we didn't find out something was going to happen. We didn't hear later that now there's going to be a match next week. I just felt like Shera was backstage for some reason. They jumped him, and who cares? Like, I know they've had problems in the past, but who cares? You didn't tell me why I had to care. You got to tell me why I have to care, other than just like dude getting jumped. And neither of them appeared anywhere else on the television program. It was just in this one, like, literally like 3-minute spot with Shera just getting jumped. So for me, big downs. Big downs. That's it. That's it. The end of the episode. Woo! Episode 15 is in the books. I'm glad, because I got to go do another one. I'm going to turn this off and start doing my Battleground preview. I hope to see you soon. Go.